All right, Fanatics, you here with Rampage Jackson. Rampage, the press conference got a little bit fiery there at the end. What is your relationship like with Shannon, and has bad blood been brewing?
Shannon is very annoying. First of all, he says, "Let's go, champ," too many times. I'm sure his wife is sick of it. I feel bad for her, okay? That's the first thing I can't stand about him. Second thing is, the guy won't grow up. On his social media, all he does is make fun of me, fat shaming me, and memes, and turning me into a woman on his Instagram with the face app thing. The guy's too damn old to be acting like that. So, as you can see, I can't stand him.
And during the presser, you said come over to the MMA side. Would you potentially meet him in a neutral side, like Triad Combat?
Yeah, I will fight Shannon anywhere. I'll fight him anywhere. Soccer field, football field. I fight him in a triangle ring. I don't care.
And you mentioned you just mentioned you want to have at least one boxing fight before you retire. Would you fight him on the boxing side even too?
I fight him in a boxing ring, in a straight up boxing match. But I also want him to come over and fight me in MMA because he talks too much. Because let's be honest, I never boxed before, right? So he has a big advantage in fighting him in any type of just stand up only, right? So why not? Why not invite him to come over where I have the advantage as well? I think it's only fair.
And I wanted to ask you about Platinum Mike Perry. Obviously, you just left the UFC. What type of conversations have you had with him about this, and what type of expectations do you have for him on Saturday?
Well, I tell you, Mike Perry, he looks very confident. He seems like he's super ready. I hope he does well. I don't know the first thing about his opponent, but his opponent didn't seem too confident up here on stage. You know, Mike Perry knows what he's doing. Hopefully he had a great camp and trained super hard, because I want to see all the guys on the MMA team victorious. You know, it's probably far-fetched for me to think that everybody on the MMA team is going to win, but I hope that everybody on the MMA team does win, but it's far-fetched to think that.
Were you able to see Frank Mir box, and how do you think he makes out?
The thing is, when Frank Mir had that boxing match, I didn't know. I heard about it late, and I was working, and I didn't see his match, but I heard that he looked well for an MMA guy fighting a seasoned boxer, and I was very impressed to hear that.
Sure. Do you think, what do you expect from him on Saturday as well?
I think Frank Mir has a good, strong, solid game plan, and I just found out exactly who his opponent is. Sounds like his opponent is super tough, and I didn't know he fought what's his name, Anthony Joshua, and you know he did pretty well against Anthony Joshua, didn't he? But he got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
Yeah, but I think it's Frank
Hit some good rounds.
Hit some good rounds.
Yeah.
What round he get knocked out in?
I want to say the 9th or 10th, somewhere around
that's
there.
good.
It went fairly deep.
Yeah.
Pulev, I think he won some of the earlier rounds. But, I mean, Joshua knocked him out. I mean,
Yeah. So I think this is because this is not a boxing ring, and you can do dirty boxing. I think that Frank Mir has a great chance of controlling the fight, because Frank Mir is a lot bigger than Pulev. So I hope Frank Mir can pull off the victory.
And, the crossover fights have, pretty much, well, I mean, celebrity boxing and things like that have always been a thing, but the crossover fights, starting with Conor and Floyd and things like that, as well, we're seeing more, kind of legendary UFC fighters, their contracts are coming up. Nick Diaz just came back, his contract. Nate Diaz has one more fight on his contract. Those guys are big striking guys. Do you think guys like that could, excel in boxing, maybe excel in this?
I think, I think that if those guys came over and fought some boxing matches, if I was a promoter, what I would do is I would put the Diaz brothers. I would start them up with, at that level of boxers. I wouldn't put them in there against the super greats at first. I would bring them up, give them like some journeymen and stuff, just like any other boxers, starting off their career. Like treat them like they're like early pros, and I think they'll do great.
Last one for you as well. So during this, crossover time, we've seen the rise of Jake Paul as well. He's been, had some fairly disrespectful things to say to the MMA community, Dana White, fighter pay, things of that nature. Some of it true, possibly as well. He's fighting Tommy Fury, his first, real test as well. Beat Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren. Do you what do you make of that, and what do you make of just kind of the fighter pay critique situation as well?
Well, I think it's a big misconception that MMA fighters don't make that much money. Yeah, it's just like boxers don't make that much money. I heard about someone what some boxers make. They don't make that much money. Like just like in boxing, it's like top 1% of MMA guys making a whole lot of money. But we do pretty good. But this is what they don't understand. Okay, some MMA fighters can fight. It depends on how old you are. I used to fight 6 times a year, but the average we fight like 3 or 4 times a year. And do boxers fight 6 times a year? Do they fight like 4 times a year? No. So who's making the most money? Like, they don't know how much money we be making. We fight more than them, and so at the end of the year, who's making the most money? And then boxers, they got to give the trainers what they pay out 33 1/3 to their managers. Then they give their trainers like 10%. We don't do that in MMA. In MMA, I think the most some managers, I only pay my manager 10%, and then I pay my trainers a set fee, because we got a lot of trainers. Like MMA, sometimes you have 4 trainers. You know what I'm saying? You pay them a set fee. Boxers don't make as much money as us. But that's a misconception. They pay out way more money than we pay out.
Rampage Jackson, I appreciate the time.
No problem.
Thank you.